Hello and welcome to the history of the Ghostbusters. Today we're going to be covering Dana Barrett. And here we go. Dana Barrett was the first customer and a film-only character in the Ghostbusters. Dana Barrett was a professional musician living in New York. She played the cello in a major symphony orchestra, possibly the New York Philharmonic. Dana lived in the same building as Louis Tully, off the Central Park West. Upon arriving home, she had a casual conversation with Louis. He lets her know that someone phoned the manager due to her television being set so loud. She found it odd that the television was left on while she was away, as he ratifies how he tried to bring trouble upon himself to keep her from trouble. But she shuts the door in his face, saying bye. Settled into her apartment at last, she puts her bags down on the counter and begins putting things away. The phenomenon begins. Eggs pop out of their shells and begin frying on the kitchen counter, and her refrigerator was making a strange noise and emitting a very bright light. Upon opening the door, she saw an otherworldly, mythic, pyramid-shaped temple in front of which laid a terror dog, who suddenly glared at her and roared the word Zool. Frightened, she slammed the refrigerator door, screaming, left her apartment, and stayed in a hotel room for a couple days. After seeing the Ghostbusters advertisement on TV, she showed up at the firehouse to get some help from the boys in gray. She seemed to be a skeptic regarding the paranormal, but was convinced that something had happened to her in her apartment. Dr. Vakeman followed Dana to her apartment to investigate the case, antagonizing her with his inappropriate, flatterous attitude, but hints concern with him, saying he is odd, which promotes him to chastise her more, before she finally excuses him from her apartment. Later, Ghostbusters Inc. took off and the guys got busy with other cases. The night of her date with Peter, she was attacked by animal-like claws ripping through her sofa. Dana screamed in horror as the claws restrained her to her sofa as Dana tries to struggle to get free while it slid into her kitchen, where the terror dog Zool awaited her, roaring savagely. When Peter showed up for his date, he found Dana possessed by Zool. She referred to herself as the gatekeeper and spoke of awaiting the coming of Gozer, the destructor. Dana's primary objective was to find and mate with Vince Clortho, another minion of Gozer, who had likewise now inhabited Dana's nerdy, stalkerish neighbor Louis. Under Zool's control, Dana became a lot more sensual and sexually aggressive, desperately attempting to seduce Peter under the false impression that he was the Keymaster. Peter steadfastly refused her advances, realizing she was possessed. He ignored Zool and continued asking to speak to Dana, which frustrated her to the point that she had been growling like a beast and magically levitating above her bed. Dana was later sedated by Peter, waking up once the Ghostbusters firehouse exploded, unleashing all the ghosts upon the city. Upon witnessing the massive explosion of supernatural energy, she blew out her living room wall with an inhuman roar to leave a way for the Keymaster to eventually find her. Dana and Louis, the real Vince Clortho, finally meet at her demolished apartment. The two demons kiss lustfully before Dana led Louis towards an ominous staircase where they can consummate their union in order to bring Gozer into the world. Dana and Louis rested briefly atop a large stone table before taking their inhabitants' ritual positions on top of opposite stone pedestals once occupied by the terror dog statues. The demonic couple awaited anxiously for the right moment to complete the ritual to bring their master into the world. Upon realizing this moment, both possessed beings raised their arms into the sky and were struck by bolts of lightning shooting out from the top of the temple, redirecting the supernatural energy towards the temple doors, causing them to open. With the doors open, the birth of Gozer into this world was complete, and Dana and Louis finished their summoning ritual by transforming into their terror dog forms, Zool and Vince Clortho. The Ghostbusters arrived just in time to see Dana shaking violently under the supernatural force of the lightning bolts, transforming into a savage, horned, red-eyed beast. Peter was shocked as Dana, in terror dog form, turns towards the Ghostbusters, staring maniacally at them, and unleashes a ferocious roar before leaping towards the mythic gateway to take place beside Gozer. After the particle flow was reversed by crossing the streams, and Gozer was defeated, Zool was banished and Dana transformed back into a human being, having no memory of the events that she had taken part of while possessed. There was obvious romantic tension between her and Peter. Ghostbusters 2. Apparently things went for the worse between Miss Barrett and Dr. Vakeman. After they grew apart, Seemingly due to Dr. Fankman's fear of commitment and taking her for granted, Dana became involved with her other interest. They married and had a son named Oscar. However, their relationship fell apart, and he decided to ditch her by taking a very good offer from an orchestra in London, and thereby breaking up their marriage. Dana hired Maria to provide daycare for Oscar while she worked at the Manhattan Museum of Art in restorations. She was under the very watchful eye of Janos Poha, the head of the restoration department. In late 1989, Dana was given a scare when the stroller containing Oscar rolled off to the middle of First Avenue. She went to Egon Spengler for help. He agreed to look into it with Ray Stantz. Dana made it clear that she didn't want Peter involved, yet still asked about him. Dana admitted that they didn't part on very good terms, and sort of lost track of each other after she got married. Amidst the crisis, Dana still planned to resign from the museum and return to the orchestra. Peter found out about the investigation and rekindled his relationship with Dana. While preparing to give Oscar a bath, a tub full of slime tried to kidnap him. Dana grabbed Oscar and fled to Peter's apartment. Dana and Oscar stayed there while the Ghostbusters continued their investigation. Peter was able to convince Dana to go to dinner with him. They went to Armand's restaurant and became closer. However, the romance was interrupted by the arrival of the other Ghostbusters, covered in slime and wearing only their long underwear. They made little sense, but Dana became alarmed when they revealed that the slime flow was headed straight for the Manhattan Museum of Art. After the police took all four of them away, Dana returned to Peter's place and walked in on Louis and Janine making out. Dana went to check on Oscar. Vigo had chosen Oscar to be his vessel and tasked Janos with kidnapping him. Dana only watched in horror as the ethereal Janos swiped Oscar from the apartment window ledge. Dana recognized Janos and went straight to the museum. She was imprisoned by Vigo. As the new year arrived, the Ghostbusters arrived to save the world. Dana was restrained once more by Vigo. She implored the Ghostbusters to do something. Peter did his best to stall Vigo, and luckily the singing of the bystanders outside weakened Vigo. Peter reunited Oscar with Dana and advised her to take cover. Once Vigo was defeated, Dana and Oscar went outside the museum with the Ghostbusters. Later, she attended a special ceremony on Liberty Island in honor of the Statue of Liberty and the Ghostbusters. Hey, thank you for watching the history of the Ghostbusters. Special thanks to the Ghostbuster Wiki and all contributors for all information you heard today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you can. If you have, thank you. And have a nice day. Bye-bye.